Hey nerds, what's up? I just got back from New Orleans. It was amazing. If you guys want to see a whole video dedicated to like just me kind of going through pictures and stuff, if you want to check out some of the pictures that I have from the trip, it's all on my Instagram. But if you want me to like talk about the experience of being in New Orleans, I just want to know if you'd be interested. So let me know if you want that video. It was amazing. I had a blast. Matt and I had a really fun time. So I'm back in the real world and the real world is boring. Anyway, today's video is going to be my December wrap up. So let's just get right on into this. So in December, I had 7 books on my TBR, and I ended up reading 4 of those, but I ended up reading a total of 6 books still. So I think I did a pretty good job. I finished one of the books that was on my TBR on the first day of January, so you're not gonna get that until later, but that's fine. This month, all of the books that I read were young adult, and I had 1 contemporary, 1... I put it in paranormal, but it could be fantasy, and then I had 4 fantasies, and then I read 5 physical books and 1 audiobook, and then I was listening to another audiobook pretty much the rest of the month, and I still haven't finished it because it's King of Ash and it's really long. I read 1 3-star book, 2 4-star books, and 3 5-star books. So really this month was very much like stagnant on what types of books I was reading, mostly fantasy, mostly physical, and definitely all young adult. But I had a really fun time most of the time, only that 1 3-star book. And then in total I read 2,415 pages, which doesn't include the books that I started in December but I haven't finished, so it doesn't include any of those Kingdom of Ash pages. Those are my stats for the month. Starting off with my 3-star book, I read The Afterlife of Holly Chase, and this book is a young adult retelling of A Christmas Carol. I put it in fantasy, but it could have also been kind of science fiction-y. It's kind of hard to explain. There's this company in the world that makes A Christmas Carol happen every year. So they pick a Scrooge, and they have their ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. There are real ghosts that are around, which is why it's kind of like paranormal, sci-fi, fantasy. I put it in fantasy. I have no idea what to put it in. They do the Christmas Carol to try to fix the Scrooges. So we follow a girl named Holly Chase who was a Scrooge, and she's a failed Scrooge. She died after she goes through the Christmas Carol of past, present, and future. She doesn't believe it. She doesn't change anything. She dies. And now she is the new Christmas past for this company. And it follows her during like 4 years after her death, working on their Scrooge of that year. It was fine. I was definitely expecting so much more. The hype got me. And I think that if the hype hadn't been so ridiculous for this book over the last 2 years, then maybe I would have liked it a little bit more. But I found the weird business company edition of paranormal or sci-fi, whatever the heck, I found that to be kind of weird, and so I didn't really get it. I did have a lot of ideas of where this was headed, and some of them I had right. Some of them I was like really close to, but just not quite on the head. I don't know, I just felt kind of like, why is this book so loved? Like it was fine. I gave it a 3 stars, which means like I enjoyed it. The ending definitely did get me in the heart a little bit emotionally, but like overall it was just fine. I don't really know what else to say other than that. So moving on to my 4-star books, I have 2 here, and the first one is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. This is the sequel to Every Heart a Doorway, which is the Wayward Children series, and I still have yet to read the 3rd one. These are very short. So the first book, it's about this home for children who have gone into other worlds and then are now back in the real world and struggling to adapt to their old life. So think Chronicles of Narnia, and then the 3 siblings come back to the real world and they are having a trouble being back in the real world, so then they're sent to this home for wayward children. So that's kind of like where this whole premise starts, in case you don't know what this story is about. This one follows Jack and Jill, who are characters in the first book, and it follows their prequel basically. It's where they were before they went to the Wayward Children's home. I liked this, I think, better than I liked the first one. The first one I also gave 4 out of 5 stars, but it was before I was changing my ratings around, and so looking back I'd probably have given it a 3. My big complaint about this entire series is that these books are too short. I don't think that there's enough in these stories to get me. Like, to get me to where it wants me to be. It's not enough for me to fall in love with everyone who's in it. So like this book did a better job at it than the first one, and I definitely will read the third book, but it's not quite there for me to get a 5 stars, I guess what's happening. And so this one was definitely better than the first though. So if you read the first and you're like me and you're like, read the second one because the second one is better. Okay, the next 4-star book that I read was Angel Fall by Susan E. This was the book that I got out of my TBR jar for December, and it was pretty good. I actually do want to pick up the sequel as well. I really liked the premise of this. It's a dystopian, and it's about this world where, you know, everything was fine here. It takes place in California, and then all of a sudden the angels come, and the angels are like killing humans, stealing children. Penryn has a younger sister who is in a wheelchair, and it's only like 6 weeks after the apocalypse, which is going to be one of my issues that I had with it, but about 6 weeks after the apocalypse, her and her schizophrenic mother, who is causing issues throughout the book, which is also something that I want to talk about in a second. The 3 of them are like running away, and they're trying to get to a safer place, and then they fall upon this area where this group of angels are fighting each other, and they watch this angel named Rafi lose his wings. And so then the other angels who are fighting him take the younger sister, and so now the whole story is Penryn using this angel whose wings have been cut off to get information so that she can try to infiltrate the angel area so that she can get her sister back. So this book is really weird. I don't know the Bible well enough to know if they were following some things that are done in the Bible. If you're knowledgeable about the Bible, I'd love to hear if you read this, like, did they follow certain things, like the names of the angels? Do they match things that we know about these angels from the Bible and stuff like that? There's a lot of stuff in here that it makes me really curious, I guess, if it's based on biblical stuff. I don't know. It didn't give me a 5-star vibe because there were a lot of questions by the end of it that like didn't feel were wrapped up enough, even though there is more books in this series. But I definitely do want to read the next one. It was entertaining. The love story romance in this was weird. I don't know about it also. So things are things, and that's that. Moving into my 5-star books, the first one I want to talk about is A Very Large Expansive Sea by Tahara Mafi. This was the Sassy Book Club for November, and we had a live show on my channel with a bunch of lovely humans, so it'll be linked whichever side. I think it goes to this side, that side. So if you want to hear more thoughts on this, I think after doing that live show, I might move it down to a 4-star or 4.5-star book, because while talking about this book with them, I realized that I had some of the same issues that we were discussing, and so like, it's not a perfect book. This book takes place in 2002, right after 9/11, and it's about a girl named Shireen who is going to a small town, very white school, and she's had to be, for the last year, dealing with a lot of racism because she wears a hijab, she's Muslim, comes from a Muslim family, and it's right after 9/11. Very heavily a young adult romance, which I didn't know going into it that it was going to be so romance. Like, that's definitely the main point of the story. I thought it was going to be way more about her breakdancing life, which is kind of how it's been sold to us. So I think that that was just like a marketing mistake, in my opinion, because it's still a good book, but it's just not what I was expecting. That being said, I still really loved the whole romance aspect of this. It's with a white boy character. The whole premise of this story is Shireen kind of having to decide, like, this white boy has never had to deal with the racism that she's had to deal with, and so like she's trying to decide if she wants to date someone who's so just oblivious, but also like, does she want to put him through that of everything? And it's super fascinating. That whole aspect was really intriguing and really well done, I think, in my opinion. I wish that I had gotten more with her family. Her family is present, but just not present enough, in my opinion. Like, we got these few scenes and it left me wanting way more from those scenes with her family. I really wanted, like, when everything starts going down, when the climax is happening and all the trouble is happening, I really wanted some perspective from her parents. I think that that would have been a really cool thing to see, as well as her brother. Like, her brother is very present in the story, but he's not really present in the conflict at that point, and so I wish we could have seen more from that. That being said though, I highly, highly enjoyed. I wish that I knew more about like was the representation good, because obviously I'm not Muslim and I don't wear a hijab and I never have experienced that. I loved it, and I'd be really curious to see what other people think about it too. The next two books. The first one that I have to talk about is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I reread this for like the gazillionth time, and I read the Ravenclaw edition. It's just so nostalgic that like it hurts. I really obviously enjoyed this. We are doing a Sassy Book Club live show for this book too, because it was our December pick, and the live show will be on January 18th at 6 p.m. PST on my channel. So come read with us. There will be a giveaway in this live show. So if you want a chance to win a copy of Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, it'll be the hardcover version of this cover. If you want a chance to win that, it's going to be US only, so I'm really sorry, but I am going to be giving a copy of this book away in the live show to just celebrate the fact that I did this for a year. Strange the Dreamer was the first January book club book of the month, so that's why I'm giving this book away. And I love this cover, and it's a hardcover, so if you want a chance to win that, come join us and talk about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and I'll just be picking someone in the live show somehow. I don't really know what I'm gonna do yet, but come to the live show to win this and to talk about this. There's a lot of cool people in this one too. January 18th at 6 p.m. PST. Be there. I got my foot asleep. I'm wearing cat socks. My foot is so asleep. Okay. The last book that I have to talk about was my last 5-star read of the month, and it was Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. This is my favorite series of hers by far at this point. I cannot believe I waited so long to read these two books. I read the first one last month. This one did not disappoint. I love it so much. So these books, I can't talk much about this one because it's a sequel, but the first book follows Kate, who is the daughter of the like ruler of North City, and all she wants in life is to be as ruthless and as monstrous as her father is. She's trying to show him and prove to him that she can do it. Her father uses his money and power to keep the North citizens safe from the monsters that are sneaking around in the city. This book has a paranormal / fantasy element where people who have done monstrous things, those monstrous things create monsters, and there's 3 different types. And it's based on what kind of monstrosity you did, what kind of violence. And then there is August, who is a monster. He's one of the 3 types, and all he wants is to be human, and he just wants to go to school and be a normal kid even though he's a monster. I love it so much, and this book ripped my heart out and killed me. It was so good. I'm so sad. If you've read it, please talk to me about it in the comments. Warn for spoilers for people, but I want to talk to you because ow. Those are the books that I read in December. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. One of the books that I didn't get to in the month was A List of Cages, which was your guys' Goodreads pick for me. And in the next TBR video, you'll be seeing a new Goodreads poll for you to pick a book from. And also, it's on my TBR list. I've actually already read it, A List of Cages, and you'll see it in my January wrap-up. But if you follow me on Twitter or Goodreads, you'll have seen that review. It was not good. So there's your little sneak peek of January. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I make videos every Thursday and Saturday. That's my new schedule. I'll be posting on Thursdays and Saturdays, and sometimes on Tuesdays, depending on weekly vlogs. This week you're getting one because I have too many videos to post. And yeah, so that's when you'll be seeing my face in your subscription box, but you can always hit that little notification bell if you want to be notified every time I post a video, and I will see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye!